What's up, fellow travelers? Welcome to Traversing the Stars. I am JD. Please welcome my special guest today, comedian Kyle Rehl. Kyle, welcome to the show.
Hey man, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here. I'm glad I asked what your how to pronounce your last name because I was going to call you Rel. I think your name is a lot cooler though, so that's awesome.
Oh yeah, no, people tend to mispronounce it. It's all good. So
yeah, awesome, dude. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
yeah, man, I'm a stand-up comedian. Lived in LA for 4 years now.
Nice.
Originally from a little town outside Atlanta, Georgia called Woodstock.
Okay.
I moved out here after college I was already doing stand-up at that point, but to do stand-up. And yeah, man, just been grinding away in the comedy game and doing shows and stuff, and fortunate during the pandemic to post some of my stuff online, and I got some good traction. So
nice.
Yeah, I'm feeling good about it, and kind of just feel like I'm in the middle of a journey right now. But
dude, I totally feel you with that. I get that because I feel the same way with podcasts, man. It's the same thing. I totally get it. And absolutely. I at one point in time, because I figured, you know what, I'm kind of a funny guy. I can do comedy. I went and tried to do stand up. I can attest, man. That shit is not easy, man. I went and did like a open mic night, and I bombed like a son of a bitch.
Dude, it is hard, and that's the thing is like I don't care like who you are.
Yeah.
At a point, if it's not your first time, it's not your second time, it's not your third time, you're gonna bomb.
Yeah.
It's like something that is just, you just have to like accept. If you truly want to like pursue it, you have to just kind of accept that as a thing that happens from time to time. And especially early on, you just gotta like get through it. That's a whole thing. I totally get that. Yeah, it can be an excruciating experience at times.
Absolutely. Sure. You know what? I wasn't prepared either. I was like, I got a few ideas. I didn't work on anything. So I was like, yeah, I'm just going to go up there and free form. It'll be great. No, it wasn't.
I'll connect the dots on stage.
It'll all come together, I'm sure. Like these professional comedians don't just like, I mean, they clearly do the same thing. Like they just go out there and they're just naturally funny. So why wouldn't it work for me?
Why not? Yeah, totally.
So how did you get like so when you were bombing early, like when you had like you getting through that, how did you like kind of overcome that and like, you know, get because I mean that is tough, man. Like when you're just getting nothing.
It is tough. You know, I was fortunate enough to start in a very positive and uplifting scene. I started in college in Athens, Georgia.
Yeah.
And everyone there was just very cool.
Yeah.
And positive, and like we were all new, so we all kind of sucked,
right? You know? Kind of all sucked together.
yeah, so we could like relate to each other anytime anybody did bad or whatever. But I think that was a big part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And also like the scene there was really great in that they had like very highly attended shows. Lots of enthusiastic people who just wanted to see stand-up comedy, like mostly students there and stuff.
Yeah.
That was nice too, because it kind of gave you the confidence, I think. Like it gave you like a little light at the end of the tunnel of like, oh, what it could be, you know, consistently. So I think those were big. Just like good support system, great was big for me.
Oh, that's absolutely vital, man. I mean, with anything you're doing, you got to have that like community within what you're doing. So I definitely understand that.
Totally. Well, and because you know, some people don't have that. You know, some people. There's certain cities or places where it's a little bit more cutthroat, and people are, you know, you're viewed as competition. You know, so I was in a smaller scene where it was more nurturing and supportive. So
yeah. So how was it going out to LA and getting into that scene? Because I mean, that's a totally different monster, I assume.
Yeah, it totally is. Yeah, so I'd put in probably about like 2.5 years in Georgia, and then I moved to LA, and it's very different. And it's basically, in a certain way, it's like starting over.
Yeah.
No one knows who you are. Whatever reputation you've garnered in your old city is gone.
Yeah.
Right. So it is very much a grinded out place. Like, I started out by going to a bunch of open mics, meeting friends there. And LA is kind of cool because it's a place where people come from all over the country.
Yeah.
And I was able to meet some people who were also from the South and like cool people. We could kind of bond over that. And we just started running shows together and just producing a lot of shows, showcases at different venues around town. And that was important because it was like a good way to get quality stage time.
Yeah.
As opposed to going to open mics all the time. It's like, okay, I'm going to make sure I have some friends coming, and we like, I still do this today. Like I just came back from barking on the street, which is just handing people flyers.
Yeah.
So like the grind never stops, like no matter where you are at your journey, but I kind of like it because it makes everybody kind of sharper,
Yeah.
Iron sharpening iron kind of thing. And you have to be on your A game. So yeah, it's been good. I think it's been good for my development.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm trying to imagine, like, because I'm just in like a small town, so like I'm trying to imagine like if I were to go out and try to promote the podcast that way, just like, hey, podcast, who wants to hear my podcast? They'd be like, what the fuck is a podcast?
That's hilarious. Yeah, you just have like cassette tape, like,
8-track tape.
yeah. Listen to my demo.
Oh, that's hilarious, dude.
Yeah, it's interesting, and it's you do some of that, you do some of the barking, you do some of the social media stuff, you do some of the email collecting and texting people, everything you can. Really.
Work in social media.
It comes from everything. It's like little bits of get like a whole audience together. So it's been good. It's been just like basically just like a graduate degree in comedy. I would describe what I've been up to.
Nice. Nice. I love it. And like you're getting like the real world experience instead of just like the theoretical thought of like
Absolutely. Yes. I am the trope of the comedian, just like comedy show, and then like people walk by and like, just all that stuff. But, it's good. It feels good to be like in the trenches.
Yeah. It feels like you're doing something, like you're going for it, and like you're like fighting for it, and just like it's just part of it. So I love it. I totally yeah,
and I think it builds character, and it's something, because some people, and like hats off to these people, but some people get like famous and then they're like, I want to start doing comedy, and that's a much easier route in my opinion than like starting from I want to do comedy as a way to get a bigger platform. Like that takes years and years. But the bonds you make with your fellow comics, you can't replace it.
That's awesome. I love it. That's beautiful, man.
Yeah. There's something poetic about it for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. So, okay, so who were your inspirations? Like, what got you into wanting to do stand up in the first place?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think early inspirations, just like coming home after school, like 6th grade, and watching like Comedy Central half-hour specials.
Yes, those were awesome.
Those were great.
Premium blend and all that shit.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I remember watching Nick Swardson's and like loving it.
Yep.
So I think that kind of was like in the back of my mind. And then like all my friends that I had like in high school were funny, and that was kind of like our thing. We would just like try to be the funniest guy.
Yeah.
And then some of my friends from high school started doing stand-up, and I was like, well, I could do it too.
Yeah.
So in a way, like my friends inspired me to do it, but also like comics from, just seeing them on TV. But I think my biggest inspiration, like since I got into stand-up and actually doing it, is Rory Scovel.
Okay.
Very funny comedian. I don't know if you know him at all. He's so good at riffing and crowd work and like spontaneous and like that energy of doing that on stage feels so good when you can like find that type of flow. And watching him kind of inspired me to try to do the same with myself, and it's just a very fulfilling feeling.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I got to see a little bit of your comedy. I was kind of like, throughout the day, like, lunchtime, check out, a little bit of stuff. And like, and I noticed you do a lot of the riffing. So like that, I was, I was kind of thinking like, that's pretty cool. Like, not everybody does that. Like not everybody be comfortable enough to like, just put people on the spot like that.
Yeah. You know what? It's kind of thrilling. There's a little bit of it because like, sometimes it doesn't go well.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the fun, like tightrope that you're walking. And I just think it's just like I spend so much time like writing jokes, and that's like great art form in itself, but there's no better feeling than just coming up with something and saying it and it crushes. Like it's so organic and like, ooh, it just feels. I remember like the first time I had that feeling, I was in college, and I had like an outer body type of experience where I was like seeing myself talking while I was on, and I was like, oh dude, this is like chase this feeling. Just and good things will happen. So I just
crank into that zone. And
it's like it's not something you can force, it's just something you just try to throw yourself in. Sometimes it's great and sometimes it's just whatever, but it's fun. And it just, you get kind of bored of telling the same jokes over and over again. It helps spice up your set a little bit too, which is
nice.
I also think it kind of helps with like, because like a big part of stand-up, I think, is kind of creating the illusion that you're kind of coming up with everything you're saying on the spot. So you have like your bits that you've worked on for forever that are like good.
Right.
But if you can kind of sprinkle in some stuff that people know you just came up with and then do the bits, it kind of becomes harder for them to tell what you made up on the spot and what is an actual joke you've been doing for forever.
Yeah.
It adds a layer of funniness to like everything.
Yeah. And it adds like that kind of, I feel like that's kind of like, I would say that's probably something that like would separate somebody like amateur and professional. Cause like, again, like that's the thought I had, like, like I could just be funny and connect it all, like we talked about, I just connect it all on stage, but like, it doesn't always work. And there's so much work in the background that goes on behind that too. And then like, so that's a genius way to connect the two.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah. I mean, this is all trial and error. So
yeah.
And it's an ongoing process. That's what I like about comedy is like pretty much anytime you see anyone, unless they're like filming a special, you're practicing. Like every time you're also practicing. So
nice. And that riffing kind of did lead to a big situation that you had like with Zack Snyder.
Yeah, big time, man.
That was natural, right? That wasn't like planned or anything.
No. Completely myself organically on stage, but like in a very fun way. Dude, what was really cool about that show is it was a crowd work show specifically. So like everyone there was there for crowd work to be talked to.
Yeah.
So like when I first started talking with Zack, and I had no idea who he was.
Yeah.
Kind of came off as like, don't talk to me. And I was like, all right, well, that's like totally against the spirit of like why we're.
Yeah.
I kind of like made fun of him a bit.
Kind of give him a little bit of shit. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, he asks what Zack movie directors I know. And I still did not recognize this man. I didn't know what Zack Snyder looked like. I was just thought,
don't you know who I am?
I was just like, I don't know, Zack Snyder. And when he said yes, I was like,
oh,
there's
no way. You're fucking with me, right?
Guessed that, and you're sitting right here, So it was like, but he was really cool. I have to give it to him. He was like a really good sport.
Yeah.
And actually, the reason why he was there is his son-in-law is also a comedian, and he was performing.
Nice.
I didn't realize that at the time, but we actually became pretty good friends after that. Me and his son-in-law. His name is Chase Austin. He's a cool dude.
Nice.
Yeah.
So did you hang out with Zack after the show or anything, or?
Yeah, I did for a little bit. He kind of came up to me like as people were leaving the room, and I was kind of chilling by the door.
Yeah.
He, like kind of grabbed me by the shoulders, and he was like playfully just like shaking me, like, "Why did you do that? Why did you?" Do He was trying to keep a low profile, I guess.
Yeah.
And then he went outside, and just everyone just starts talking to him. And I'm like, oh, I feel bad. And at this point, up till that point, I wasn't sure if it actually was him or just some guy who was just like yes-anding me and trying to play along or whatever. And someone was like, no, dude, it's really him. And I was like, I have to get a picture. Because like, I don't know this moment. But I went up to him, got a picture, talked to him for a bit. He was really chill. He was nice about the whole thing.
Nice.
And I just thought it was cool that he was just out even supporting live comedy. But So yeah, and I'm glad that I had there was a guy there filming everything, and like there's just so many things that kind of fell into place.
Everything just went right for that.
You could never plan in a million years.
Yeah.
That's why it's like so special and funny and like crazy coincidental of a moment.
Yeah.
That came from just this philosophy of kind of like, pursuing just being in the moment and riffing and just seeing what happens,
Yeah. So any chance of getting into his next movie or anything? I mean, you got a contact now, so
yeah. I don't know. I certainly hope so.
Yeah.
But I'm not counting on it. But that would be awesome. I would definitely not say no if I was.
I don't blame you. Yeah, you'd be dumb to say no to that.
Yeah. Part of me hopes like someday someone starts like an online petition to get me to play like some DC person or something.
Love it. Who would you want to play?
Oh man. I mean, I guess he's not with Warner Brothers anymore, right? So he's not doing DC stuff.
Yeah, I think he's done with DC.
If it was a DC thing, it would probably be Robin. I always thought that was like a fun character that could have its own franchise.
Yeah.
But honestly, whatever. If he wants me to walk in the background of a shot and not say a word, I'll do
it. I love it. So being in LA, I mean, how often does that happen that you have like other celebrities like at your shows? Does that happen like with any regularity or?
Yeah, it happens actually like a pretty decent amount. And it depends on certain venues and stuff. Mm-hmm. But trying to think of other people. I don't know if you know the band Run the Jewels or the group. They're like a hip hop group. But
I probably know if I heard like their song, one of their songs.
Yeah, they have some hits, but one of the guys from there just kind of like just very casually at one of our shows and like a couple times too, and we're like, oh, this is very cool. But it's like one of those kind of weird things where you don't want to like poke the bear too much. You don't want to like, because I do think that when people are out, they're trying to maintain a low profile.
Yeah.
In a situation like that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of any other people. I'm sure there's other ones that I just can't think of at the moment. But
yeah,
it happens a good amount. Definitely more than where it was.
More than Georgia, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the whole thing would be like that much stranger if Zack Snyder was in Athens, Georgia, while you were doing that.
For no reason.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I'm actually a big fan of the comedy scene here.
It's like okay.
Cool. All right. Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah, totally. So, okay. So along with that, you've also done a little bit of like some other stuff, some TV work. So you worked with Ice-T on The Mediator.
Dude. Yeah.
What is Ice-T like in real life?
He was cool. So
I've always loved that guy.
Yeah. Little background on the situation. So my buddy, Ben Palmer, has been basically for at least a solid decade just trolling people on the internet and like garnering a huge following.
Yeah.
And he's been on multiple court TV shows.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is just like a ruse.
Yeah.
So he gets a friend to go on a court TV show with him. And it's like a made up case. And basically they just get to play characters. And that's exactly what we did with The Mediator.
Yeah.
And so we made up a story that me and him were playing basketball.
Yeah.
And I said he purposely hurt me, but I was wearing sandals. And like, that's crazy. This is a wild. So we basically like finagled our way onto this Ice-T courtroom TV show. And it was awesome. I can't express how cool of an opportunity it was. Unfortunately, I didn't get to meet him in person. It was like
bummer. Yeah, still
pandemic. But he just kept it real because he was just like I was very surprised at how well they did editing this thing and polishing it up because we were chaotic. We were just like yelling at each other, like throwing insults and all this stuff. But he like remained very calm there was a certain point where I got like the guy I was playing, I was just like, I'm just gonna get really mad. And I just started playing an Ice-T. I called him like a phony and all this stuff. And it was crazy. It was such a surreal moment because like doing something like that, you're like, you want to be in the character.
Yeah.
time you're like, I'm yelling at Ice-T right now.
Like for real, that's happening right now.
Yeah. And so he kind of was like done with my BS, but it was fun. In between takes, he was pretty cool. He was like making little jokes and stuff, and that was a very fun experience, and we're happy that it made it to air. So
yeah,
I think we were just like, we hope they don't find out what we're doing.
Yeah.
So basically, we just like finesse our way onto the show. But
dude, that's like the ultimate fake it till you make it.
It totally was, and I almost like wish we had like a little like documentary crew following us around, because it took so much training, and we went through probably three or four different court TV places, and three of the four discovered what we were doing.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, Ice-T, like the biggest name person, like didn't, and
he probably did. He was like, you know what, this sounds like fun.
Hustle, dude. I respect the hustle. Like, yeah. We made it entertaining. So,
and that's the whole point. So,
yeah. It was crazy. I had a lawsuit that I had against my friend Ben, and it was like they made me make an itemized list of everything I was suing him for, and I just put like the most ridiculous shit in the list. I was like, Benadryl, $300. I wrote like Northern Lights cannabis, $500. Just like medical merit, like all kinds of crazy,
just all kinds of off the wall shit.
We just put a screenshot of it on the TV, and I was like, that's amazing. I'm so like, that's awesome. They didn't like censor it or anything. I was like, that's great. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Dude, that's cool, man. Yeah, because I've always loved that guy. Like, I've always like imagined he'd be cool in real life.
I honestly walked away from the experience having even more respect for him, just because of like how crazy we were and how calm and collected he was.
Yeah, he knew what you guys were doing. He was like, no, I know exactly what these two are doing.
He ended it by like telling me he was like, and make sure you don't play basketball with fucking flip-flops. I walked off the screen. I was like, damn, he got me.
I could see him like in a judge robe, like delivering that line too.
Yeah. It was so surreal, dude. It was a very, very, very cool experience, but it was awesome.
I love it. That is the coolest shit I've ever heard, man.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for my friend Ben, I would not have ever concocted that scheme. But I was like, he's done it like 10 times. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah. So like, at what point, like, do they see that he's working some kind of circuit for that?
Well, so after the show aired, we like posted it. He posted it on his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And a couple days later, they sent us like a cease and desist, and they were like, yeah. So we weren't able to like really publish it on our own platforms really the way we wanted to, but I think at like a year or so from now, we'll probably do it again, and I don't think the show will be around, so we might be able to get away with it.
Nice.
But yeah, it was wild, man. It was very fun.
That's awesome. So okay, so like, since you got your finger on the pulse of like, you know, the scene, who are we looking, like, who do we need to be like watching out for? Like, who's like who are we sleeping on right now? Like, who do we
Yeah, so a couple of people I would say, I mean, there's so many to mention, but some people that come to mind, Chris Estrada, very funny guy. He's a native Los Angelino, and has a show coming out on Hulu soon that he's like starring in, and he wrote the whole thing and stuff. I believe it's the executive producer is Fred Armisen.
Cool.
Yeah, so it should be a really cool project. So definitely keep an eye out for him, because he'll be making his way around soon. Man, there's just so many people. Audrey Stewart is someone who I think is very funny. She's a hilarious comedian. She's got great energy.
Yeah.
She's done a bunch of cool stuff. Dave Ross is a very funny guy. He to me is like one of the best comics in like the alt scene in LA.
Okay.
Very funny dude. I think he dropped an album a little over a year ago that's on Spotify. I don't remember the name of it, but Dave Ross.
I got to check that out. That's really funny, because that's actually my dad's name.
No way, really?
Way.
Dude, Okay, sorry. You should definitely listen to it then, because definitely talks about his dad in it.
Okay, so I'm gonna find that one first, like, because like then I gotta send it to my dad so he could be like, yeah, look, you're fucking famous. Look at you.
Yeah, and he's been in stuff too. He's been on like Comedy Central, stuff like that. So he's doing well for himself, which is good.
Nice. That's awesome, dude. So like, okay, so like what's your favorite venue that you played? Like, because I saw online that you've been like all over the place. You've done the Comedy Store, all these other famous venues. Like, what's your favorite one?
Dude, that's a really good question. I think that my favorite, like, I'll do this. I'll do my favorite venue in LA.
Okay.
And then I'll do a venue outside of LA.
Okay.
Because I feel like shows in LA are a little different than like shows on the road. In LA, and this is a little self-promotion because I do have a show there, but there's a place called Vino, and it's a wine store, but you go to the basement and there's like a cellar down there and a showroom, nice lighting, all this stuff. So it's kind of like a hidden like speakeasy thing.
Nice.
And
sounds like a pretty cool vibe.
It's a very good vibe, and like people will like hang out at the bar before and drink and mingle, and so it's like kind of fun. Like the audience kind of like gets to know each other a little bit.
Yeah.
Show. And then they go in the showroom, and it's like a small cozy room, with like a low ceiling, which is like so big in comedy, like a low ceiling.
Yeah.
Just eat laughter, it just dissipates.
Yeah.
In this room is just bouncing off the wall, and you can get like 40 people in there, and it's like rocking, and it's like
nice.
Really my favorite venue in LA. Outside of LA, I think my favorite place that I performed at, which sadly I don't believe is still open, is Relapse Theater.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a really cool old venue in Atlanta, and it's in the basement of an old church.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a black box theater. It can fit like probably like 150, 200 people in there.
Nice.
Rory Scovel actually filmed his Netflix special there.
Nice.
And I know like a good amount of people in that who are like in sketches and stuff, because they're all from the like Atlanta scene there. But that's a very cool venue. And I got to like film something there one time, which was really cool and special. So.
Nice. Like, that's a shame that it's not open anymore, but I mean, that's like such a common tale anymore.
I know, yeah, and like I think the pandemic and stuff like that, but it can be back because it's come back before.
Oh yeah,
and so I could see it happening for sure.
Nice, dude. When are you coming out to the East Coast, man? Because like I'd love to come see you live.
Dude, I'm actually gonna be in New York City. I believe, next week, starting next week, and
nice.
I'm doing. Right now, I got like 6 or 7 shows planned. So I'll be out there in NYC. I got to come through. I know you said you're from Southern PA, right?
Yeah.
Are you near like Philly, or what's
closer to Harrisburg, about an hour south of Harrisburg?
Yeah, because I have some family in Pennsylvania, so I was thinking about scheduling some dates in PA just to go see them, but also.
Hell yeah, dude!
I'll absolutely let you know.
Yeah, you got to let me know about that.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to. I'm kind of in the stage where I'm just trying to book more dates and just do some more tours and stuff. So
I love it. Now, when you tour, like, are you big enough that you have a bus yet, or like, are you still like driving?
No, definitely not. No, I wish. No, man, I'm probably rocking like a rental car or just driving in my own car. To places, but we're not there yet, but that's definitely on the bucket list. That's the goal for sure.
That's the dream right there.
Yeah.
Tour bus life.
Yeah. I usually just like hit a city and just try to book as many shows as I can there.
Yeah.
Usually a couple days amount of time or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to do more like weekends and stuff at clubs. So hopefully that'll get going soon. And yeah, man, I don't know. I just got a good like positive kind of momentum vibe going right now for me. So I'm feeling pretty good about the comedy stuff.
I fucking love it. That is absolutely beautiful, man. I feel it, man. I'm with you on that. Like I feel the exact same way, like with what I'm doing. So like, yeah, I'm totally connecting with you on that. I love it.
I love that.
Yeah. So what advice would you give to like somebody? I mean, I guess it's kind of hard with like pandemic land, but like, you know, like assuming everything gets back to normal at some point, what's the best advice you can give to like somebody who's wanting to jump into comedy?
Yeah, I would say go to an open mic.
Mm-hmm.
Don't even perform. Just watch and see what it's like.
Just kind of hang back.
See what it's like. And then from there, be like, okay, do I want to do this?
Yeah.
Because I think some people have this idea in their mind of what it's going to be like.
Right.
They're like, oh, I watch Netflix specials. It's
yeah.
going to be that. It's like, no, it's actually the exact opposite of that. It's going to be a battle. So that's my first piece of advice for someone who's just thinking about it.
Yeah.
And you do that and you're like, okay, this is cool. Then I would say, depending on your personality, either do it totally anonymously and don't tell anyone you're doing it.
Yeah.
If you're like safety net, or if you're the type of person who likes support, tell a bunch of your friends, get a bunch to come and just have them support you.
Yeah.
It'll probably go better with some friends there. Though I will say there is the possibility that it goes horribly and all of your friends watch you bomb, which has happened to me a zillion times. So it's all good. Then that's just like a good welcome to comedy moment. And you're taking your lumps. But
yeah.
And then beyond that, just don't get discouraged. Just go for it full force. Absorb, be a sponge. Absorb the people around you, the scene, the audience, everything. And just try to do it as much as possible, because the more reps you get, the faster you'll get better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, practice makes perfect. I mean, the more you do it, the better you get.
Exactly. It's just like anything else. And it's like one of those things where I feel like anyone can do comedy.
Yeah.
Like anyone who understands what jokes are.
Right.
Or has a basic appreciation for comedy, I think could do it. It's just a matter of how long are you comfortable doing it for?
Right.
Without any type of success, and can you grind it out?
Right.
And I think that's really it. But honestly, it's just like anything else. You just got to dive into it and just get as many reps as possible.
I love it. Yeah. That's awesome, dude. Kyle, this has been absolutely phenomenal. Where can people find you at?
Dude, yes. People can find me on TikTok at Kyle Rehl. It's KYLEREHL. Also on Instagram with the same handle, and on Twitter too, if that's your thing. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
Awesome, dude. Well, hey man, this has been absolutely a blast. Like I said, you got to let me know when you're closer to PA, because I want to come out and check you out, dude.
Absolutely, man. I will for sure.